Okay, today we are looking at identifying and writing proportions. So we have a few things to know first. Equivalent ratios are ratios that name the same comparison. Okay, it might be a simplified fraction of another, like 1/3 and 3/9. Those are equivalent because 3/9 simplifies to 1/3. And a proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equivalent. So it would be putting 1/3 equals 3/9, and that is a proportion. So how we do this to determine whether the ratios are proportional, you can do this one of two ways. You can either simplify as they show, 24 divided by 3, because that is the greatest common factor, and you would get 8 over 17, and then 72 over 128, you would divide by 8 because it's the greatest common factor, and you would get 9/16. So, since these two are not equal to each other, the ratios are not proportional. Another way to do this is to multiply your cross products. And when you do that, you would multiply 24 times 128. And when you do that, you get 3,072. And then you would multiply 51 times 72. And when you do that, you get 3,672. And because 3,072 is not equal to 3,672, that shows they are not proportional as well. Okay, sometimes simplifying fractions are really difficult because you can't figure out the greatest common factor. So 150 and 105. The greatest common factor of 150 and 105 is 15. So we divide by 15 and we get 10/7. Then 9 over 63, the greatest common factor is 9. We divide and we get 10/7. So because 10/7 is equal to 10/7, the ratios are proportional. To do my way and multiply, here, 150 times 63 equals 9,450, and 105 times 90 equals 9,450, and because 9,450 equals 9,450, the ratios are proportional. So you can do it either way. You have to show what you're multiplying by if you do it the second way, and you have to show what you're simplifying by if you do it the way the book does it. Directions for making 12 servings of rice call for 3 cups of rice and 6 cups of water. For 40 servings, the directions call for 10 cups of rice and 19 cups of water. Determine whether the ratios of rice to water are proportional for both servings of rice. So, we need to write the ratios of rice to water for 12 servings and 40 servings. So the ratio of rice to water for 12 servings is 3 cups of rice to 6 cups of water. Okay? Because it says rice to water, rice goes on top, water goes on bottom. And then the ratio of rice to water for 40 servings, we have 10 cups of rice to 19 cups of water. So, it says, in this case, we're going to write the ratios with a common denominator. Now, a common denominator in this case is 114. So we have to multiply 6 by 19 to get 114. And 3 times 19 is, I believe, yes, 57. Okay? And then we have to multiply the 19 by 6 to get 114. And 10 times 6 is 60. So since 57 over 114 is not equal to 60 over 114, the ratios are not proportional. You could do this, though, the same way we did before. You could do 3/6 equals 10/19, and you could multiply this way, okay? 3 times 19 equals 57, and 6 times 10 equals 60, and because 57 does not equal 60, they are not proportional. They're just giving you a bunch of different ways to solve a problem to make sure that you have a way that makes sense. Find an equivalent ratio, then write the proportion. Anytime you are finding an equivalent ratio, all you have to do is multiply the numerator and denominator by any number such as 2. You cannot multiply them by 1 because that gives you the same exact fraction. You have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, just like when we're making fractions with common denominators, but it can be any other number besides 0 and 1. So, and it has to be a positive number. So in this case, they multiplied both by 2. 3 over 2 is 6. 5 over 2 times 2 is 10. And then we write a proportion. Okay? And what we do is we take the starting fraction, 3/5, and we set it equal to what we got after we multiplied both the numerator and denominator by 2. Another way to do this is to divide both the numerator and denominator by a number that goes into both of them. Okay? So in this case, they chose the greatest common factor of 16. But you could also choose any number that, as 4. But you could choose any number that goes into both 28 and 16, such as 2. 2 goes in there. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay? And then we're going to write a proportion. So we still take our starting fraction, 28/16, and we set it equal to our fraction we got after we simplified. Now, in my mind, this one is easier because all you have to do is multiply both numbers by 2 every single time. But if you like dividing better, that's fine. Now you can do your check it out, and you can do it in any way that you have been shown today. Okay?